Yo, yo, yo! Welcome to the podcast brought to you by the ANOUVUE Collective, where we're going to talk about everything film related, from script to screen and anything else in between. Stay tuned.
All right, so welcome back to another New View podcast. And we have on the show with us again Andre Wynter. This time it's just me and him. And we're going to get to know Andre Wynter a little bit better and find out some more about him. But I will let Andre introduce himself so that we can get to know who he is before I get into the questions. Andre?
Hi, everybody. Andre Wynter. I am writer, director, producer, cinematographer, gaffer, hyphenated. Um, been in the industry for years. Found my way by a long route. Started in about 2011. So next year makes 15 years.
Nice.
Started out in Jamaica. Now I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia, in the US, and I own a grip and electric rental company called 404 Grip Truck, where I'm the owner, hire crew, rent equipment, lights, grips, AC stuff. Yeah, um, just a
So,
one-stop shop.
so jack of all trades, master of none, often finish it. You know the rest of the saying?
It's basically often better than some. What's the
Um,
rest of it? Yeah.
it's jack of all trades, master of none, often better than a master of one. Yeah.
Look at that.
So, but for those who, yeah, so there are lots
People
of
are
phrases
people are
that
using
people,
that saying wrong for
yep.
years.
No, in fact, there are many sayings like it. There are people who are using it, they're using only half of the saying. But the truth is, it was, they shorten it. And of course, that would be used to kind of denigrate people who dabble in too many things and is a master of none of them. But the truth of the matter is, the full saying is essentially saying that, yo, somebody who knows a little bit about everything tends to be more useful than somebody who is hyper specialized. Because at the end of the day, hyper specialization is great when you need specialization, but there are times when you need somebody who knows a little bit of everything. And the honest truth is, in the film industry, especially these days, it definitely pays to know more than one thing. And definitely we're going to get into later on if Jamaica played a part in you having knowledge of so many parts. But before we get to that, I want to know, how did you even get started in film?
Yeah. As I said, it's a long road because I actually went to school to be a dentist at first. Like, I did my undergrad.
I
Yeah.
never know
I,
that.
I did my undergrad in biology, which was like a pre-med course. Like,
Mm-mm.
and once
This is a UE?
no, this was in the US. So I went
Oh,
to a
you said.
school called
Oh, in the US.
Northeastern
Oh, okay.
in Boston. Was on my way. Did was studying for my the MCATs, which gets you both into dental and med school, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. um, I really did not want to do it anymore, and I was good at sciences. Um, but I just decided that was not the path for me. I was gonna go to I even was looking at one point to go to dental school in Trinidad, and just decided to come home and try to figure out what I actually wanted to do with my life, because I didn't see
Mhm.
myself doing that at the time. Maybe I
Yeah.
regret it a little bit more. I'd be a lot more comfortable in life as a dentist right now. Or, I don't think I'd be the same person. So how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
But, it's all part of God's plan. Um,
Good.
and then, funny enough, I started to do an undergraduate degree after that. Not well, an undergraduate degree in law, because I thought that's where I wanted to go. Um,
Okay. That I can believe.
yeah,
You look like you could be a lawyer.
yeah, and I was, fun, like, in Jamaica, when people talk of your whole growing up.
Mm.
You're gonna be a lawyer when you grow up.
Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
fed into that. And I was working at a law firm, I was going to school, and my brother had just come back from the US. He went to New York Film Academy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he went to New York Film Academy, was working in the industry here in Atlanta, and then decided to come back. He was shooting a film. He got some money to shoot a film. And, I just started to help out, just do some admin stuff for him, then do some PA stuff. And then I started to, get into producing because he didn't really like to produce. So I just bought one of those big textbooks that teach your production, like every aspect of production, and
Mm.
just went through the book. And, because I was doing law, I was used to reading those books. I did organic chemistry. Those books were used to reading, going through big books like that. And then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just started to breaking down, and it just was so easy to me. It wasn't only easy, but it was just interesting because it was also creative thinking as well as like
Mm. Mm.
really in depth, just diving in. And I just took to it, and I found myself working with my brother more than I was paying attention to like my job at work, at my law job,
Mm.
whereas I'm at work,
Right, right,
like lunch, lunch finished, but I'm still breaking down scripts or, doing call sheets
right,
and stuff
right.
like that. And then I just was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. Me and my brother was working for a while. I loved producing, and we had this script that we were trying to get made, and we're shopping it around and getting it into people's hands, and it just in being very naive at the time, um
Right, right.
believing I would have gotten like 100,000, 500,000 for our first feature, and um that didn't work out. um and then I made some different decisions back then because we had gotten the money, some money, but people wanted us to go in a different direction, or shoot it with less money. And then me and my brother, he went back to the US, and I just continued working in the film. And then right after that,
Mm.
Real Friends was my next project, and I started to write it because I just had this story to tell, and that's how I got into the industry.
Okay, cool, cool. So your first real big project was Real Friends. Tell us about Real Friends. Real Friends is how I found out about you, by the way. Was watching TV one day and saw Real Friends on, and I was like, wait, what's this? And it's not that we haven't seen series in Jamaica before, but it was the first time seeing a teenage-based series, a series that takes place in school. I was like, wait, we have this? And I was just like, all right, let me watch the credits and see who is the creator of this show because I need to know more about how you even went about. Well, for one, um, you know what? I'm not even going to ask any specific questions. Just tell me about the journey of Real Friends because that must have been a journey.
Yeah, that was a crazy journey. And funny enough, Real Friends, and I'm sure you didn't just see it on TV because they ran ads on TV for like a year before it came out. So I'm
Yes,
sure you
that's
probably
true.
saw the
That's true.
ads.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that
um,
is actually true. Now that you say it, I do remember seeing the ads and I was like, yo, what is this? When is this coming out? When is this coming out? And I was literally stalking the TV waiting for it to come out. So yeah, you are right. I did see the ads first. Yeah.
yep, trust me, it was coming soon for like I want to say maybe like 7, 8 months. And I'll get to that. So I have like in my marketing, Real Friends is Jamaica's first teen drama, which actually isn't true. There was another series they had a pilot done right before, like when I was writing Real
That would have
Friends
been
and
Kingston
started to
House.
produce Kingston House, right? Because
Yeah, I
Kevin, who
remember that.
stars
That was
in Real
Kyle
Friends,
Chin.
is also
Yeah,
starred in Kingston House. Palchin shot it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think Kyle Chin shot that.
So
Mhm.
And it was cool because I remember I think I'd seen it, or like I was pitching Real Friends because I wrote the pilot, and I wanted to shoot the pilot to pitch it around. And when I was pitching it around, somebody was like, "Yeah, there's Kingston House," and I had at that point I'd already started to cast, and so I'd actually reach out to the director, the writer director. It was this young lady. She was Jamaican, but she had come from New York, and she was trying, and it she had pitched it to a few places, but it didn't get picked up. So you know, I reached out to her and I was like, tell her, hope she get it going, and I wanted to use Kev voice, even though there might be some overlapping themes. She was like, go ahead, and we had a good conversation. I think her name was Crystal. I'd have to look back and think. Um, but yeah, I had so I had one of the most interesting ways how I got the pilot funded was that when I was in high school, I used to work over the summer. And, as I was working from like 14, like 14 summer jobs. First, I start work with my father company. Then I, applied to like Grace Kennedy, and I worked at, I think, like VM as like at the front desk and stuff like that. So in sixth form, I didn't want a car. Everybody wants a, like them time the Fast and the Furious was out. So like I didn't
Yeah.
have my eyes on this like a Starlet. I don't even know if you remember those cars.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
there's this
man, GT
lady who
Turbo.
like, yeah, this older lady, her son did migrate and leave to GT Turbo. He had a black one and he had a
Oh,
white one. And I didn't want the black one.
nice.
And I was like saving up, working, saving up for the entire summer. And I go to my parents and I'm like, yo, I have this much money. The lady want this amount. Can you help me make up the difference? My mother said to me, I will give you the money, but here what? I will put it in a fund. So we buy you some stocks, and when you're ready and it's time, 'cause I didn't even have at that time. I didn't even have a driver's license. I think I did just have a learning. So like I was like 6 months away from a driver's license. She said, "All right, when you're ready, I will. You can make some money, and then when you're ready." The thing is, I got my license, but I'd migrated right afterwards, so I never
Mm-hmm.
end up getting the car in, and end
Uh-huh.
up go school, go away for 4 years for school, come back, do a year, and then I was like, I want to get some money to know to get this going. And my mother was like, yo, say you have
Stop them.
to stack them. And I'd put in, I think we had put in something like 85,000. And by the time I went back after school, it was at like 400,000.
What?
Yeah.
Yo.
And that was like the stock that it because it was gray stock, and
Yeah, yeah,
gray
yeah,
stock,
yeah.
and Grace was like one of the more
Yeah, man, you almost
strongest.
can't feel with Grace.
And it was like during that time, it was like a market boom and stuff like that.
Right, right.
So I took some of that money, shot Real Friends pilot. That was all in itself. I got lucky with a lot of stuff. My dad went to JC, and he actually
Okay.
put me in contact with a couple people there, and I had to like meet with the principal, meet with the board,
Mm-hmm.
pitch them the show, tell them so there's no violence, it's school stuff. Um, and then it's like little stuff that I had to do, like come and talk to the students about filmmaking and stuff like that, just to be able to use it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Denique was in the pilot as one of the lead characters.
Oh, yes. Yes, her when she had the short hair.
When she had the short hair. And that was like
Forgot
a
that.
crazy journey. Lisa, who she reads news now. I think she was
Yeah.
Lisa. She was brown. She was in Get Alive. She played the female lead in Get Alive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember her.
He
Yeah.
was in it. Kevoy Akeem Oden, all of them were in it.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, I'd reached out to a lot of people to be in that. Like, I'd reached out to like Chris Martin to play one of the roles, or like the guy who's outside of school. Them laugh at me. I was like, his manager was like, his per diem is more than what you're paying.
Right.
He's not doing that. Samantha J. I remember I reached out to her artist. You remember that girl?
Oh, yeah, man. I remember Samantha J. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Like a skinny brown chick. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like I hearing her song in my head, but it just
Hey,
not
you
quite
girl
come
in
out.
at the time. She did sample a
Mhm.
Red Rat song. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. She's actually an influencer now. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and it was like a long road, and we shot it. I think over like 2 days over a weekend. Got extras from Arden's drama club.
Uh,
Um, I designed the school uniforms, which
so that man
which
is all
was
our department in a costume
yo. I
design.
was doing everything like because I didn't even know like in my mind I didn't even think of like art department. So like I was doing
Right.
collecting bags from my friends in my neighborhood. Um, I designed the ties. I made the ties and the school shirts. I went out and bought the school shirts for all the leads, and we did fittings, and I had to do all of that. So like it was, and I encourage people all the time. I'm like, yo, go make your own first film with almost nothing on the line because it'll be the best film school that you ever go through.
Mm-hmm.
You'll learn so much. And the good thing is I had like a mentor, O'Neill Miller, who owns OCM Production. He put the
Mm-hmm.
crew together, and he guided me on a lot of things. At that time, OC was an editor, and he had his production company. They were doing Free Choice at the time, and he had been through what's the school down by Women's Prep, not the school, the film school, CPTC. So he was at
CPTC, right.
CPTC for years and years and years. So he was there when they were doing, I think, Lime Tree Lane show shot there and stuff like
Okay,
that.
yes,
So
Lime
he
Chili
was,
Motion.
so he had really helped me, along that path. And we shot it 2 days. Funny thing about the school uniform is once we did get picked up, I had to change it because we had
Oh,
a group
really?
chat with all of the talent, and Akeem sent me a picture of a school uniform because I tried to make the school uniform unique.
You're
So
right,
it's like a
unique.
bright green tie, like a neon green white shirt, um,
Yeah.
khaki pants. Same with the girls, khaki skirt. School for the deaf wears the exact same uniform.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
it took like months, like almost a year after we shot the pilot. Somebody had seen it. We were like, which school that? And somebody asked somebody, and they're like, oh, it's school for the deaf or school for the blind, one of them. And we're just like, geez, we have to change it. Because I didn't want anybody to say, oh,
Yeah,
school
man.
is that school. Because the school don't even have a
Yeah.
name. We used to call it Real
Right.
Friends High. um, but yeah, that was an interesting journey. And then after that, a lot of people don't know this, is that even though it came out on CVM, I had pitched it to both, I mean, TVJ. I'd pitched for the instance. I'd pitched it to both CVM and TVJ.
Right.
And TVM had some new leadership, and they were quicker off the mark. So they were quicker to be like, yo, let's go. So once they had said yes, and this is our lesson, I know it now. Don't stop talking to another person until you sign the contract.
Mm.
Because CVM was like, yeah, let's go and do this and that and blah, blah, blah. And TVJ was a little bit slower. They were like, yeah, usually you have to pay for airtime, but we'll partner
Right.
with you and blah, blah, blah. And you come in. CVM was like, yo, we'll get you the money. We have this and that and blah, blah, blah. I was in negotiation with them for like 7 months, to the point where like I had a lawyer and I had like rubbed up $150,000 lawyer fee,
Wow.
and we still hadn't signed the contract. And then that CEO got fired. So a new CEO came in. We had to start all over.
Oh man.
And it's funny enough, like it took like a year and a half maybe after we shot the pilot, because it had to be edited and then we go out and sell it, and I'm walking with this pitch deck, and to the point where to the end I ran so much of our lawyer fees, and they have their in-house lawyer, so they don't have to rack up anything.
Right.
Where I started to have to like negotiate the contract myself, where I had made some mistakes in the contract. So I'd signed a contract to co-produce Real Friends and co-own with CVM. And then, I'm sorry, this is a long-winded story. I didn't think if you
I
wanted
am
to get...
appreciating it. No, I appreciate it
Yeah,
because for me, the business of film is very, very important. People don't know this side of it. They think that you write a script and a man say, "Oh my God, your script is amazing. Here's some money." And it's like, nah, it don't work like that. There's a lot more to it. And even this lesson that you're talking about, where don't say no until the contract sign or until the money reach, is a very
yeah, because you
important
lose
one,
leverage.
because you lose leverage. And let me tell you, one of the things that I've learned going to international markets, people people talk a really good talk. And in Hollywood, and most likely you've definitely learned this in Atlanta, like people are not going to say no. They will always say maybe, because they don't want to say no to the next great thing. They'd rather string you out
Yep,
and say maybe to you for 10 years than to say no. And if
yep.
you hang on to that maybe, like, oh yeah, man, them say they want the business. No, not really. Them tell everybody that your script is amazing.
hmm
So
And funny enough, like a lot of times when that happens, you go out and shoot something and they see that you're doing something without them, they're not gonna pass on your next project. Then you see them
right,
finally come out. So
very true.
it was this weird thing, because, and let me tell you what happened with CVM. So I'd given both of them the pilots, and both of them, both CVM and TVJ. Well, no. So I give CVM the pilot. They went and did a showcase because they had a couple of other pilots.
Mhm.
And somebody from some company were like, yeah, we're going to give 30 million. So they hear that and they're like, yo, come. So originally, I think they were supposed to give me a whole heap of money. And then, they were dragging their feet behind. And somebody like feels sorry for me at the company and was kind of like, and I think left and told me the truth about what happened, where they're like, yo, they thought they had this money coming in, but they didn't get the money. So they draw my negotiations out and then come down. And then eventually they told me they didn't have the money, and then told me like a much smaller fee, where I had to come up with some of the money too. So, and they kind of wore me down, because at that age, I was like 23, 20, 24, 20, no, like 24. Um, how old was I?
Yeah, them time they
That's
not have
probably like
patience.
23. It's not only that, but like
Mm,
imagine, at that time, yeah, you're patient, because this is something that because I left the law firm at that time, and as you trying to have this as my source of income, and I wasn't making any money from it,
right.
and I was doing some other stuff, here or there, but in the industry when you start out, like I'm working as a PA in Jamaica, it's tough. It's tough, and at that time I had a kid too, so I had like a 2-year-old, so it was tough. They wore me down, and eventually, we did it, and it didn't work out with Steven because Like I put up all my money first, and then they would give
Mm-hmm.
me money when I hit some targets. But they didn't
Right.
come through with a lot of things. So even the first season was supposed to be 13 or 10 episodes. We only did 7 because that's how much money I had
Mm-hmm.
put up. And I made that stretch. And I didn't even
Right.
I didn't
Right.
even
Right.
like spend have money for host or anything like that. So, and then we split, we walked
Right.
our separate ways because, CVM was going through some hard time. They didn't want to give up this money. And the relationship went sour. So I ended up started editing it myself and then went back to TVJ. Boom, bam, they took it because they love nothing more than a finished product. And,
Right.
they
Yeah.
gave
Yeah.
me, they're like, what you want for it, how you want to go with this. And, they were really good to me. And yeah, that's all. And, they helped finish it. They helped edit it. They marketed it. Um, and then on top of that, they offered me a job.
Mm.
But yeah, that's the long story. That's how it got, from pilot to and it got to
Mm-hmm.
TVJ, and they offered me a job as a producer there.
Mm.
They had formed a unit to call homegrown unit. They had just formed it, and I was the first hire in that department. And I saw for the first time in like 2.5 years, I had something stable, and it was that was it. That was the story of Real Friends. And then the Christmas it dropped, and it was like the biggest thing in the world to me at the time.
No, let me tell you, for me as well, because I mean, I was hungry for local content at the time, and to see content like that, I was like, oh man, this is great. Because before that, and I'm not going to say there wasn't anything before that, but like before that, it was like Royal Palm. And Royal Palm was great. It served this market, but it's a soap opera. You
Hmm.
know, I wasn't looking for just soap operas. I wanted more out of my local TV. So seeing something like that, and for me, I like a teen drama. I would say I still watch teen dramas to this day. Not as much, but I still watch them because I think right now, while I'm still friends with a lot of people, well, I wouldn't say a lot, some of the people I went to high school with, and then you have some other friends you've met along the way that you're good friends with, but you don't have the time to hang out with them as much anymore. So
Right.
high school kind of represents that time when you got to hang out with your friends all the time, and it really kind of started to form who you are. So those things still kind of appeal to me from that standpoint. So it was great to see it. But I think the two major lessons out of this, if I can even remember the second one, but the first one is, you know, um, jack of all trades, right? Same jack of all trades, master of none is often better than a master of one because your series probably wouldn't have gotten finished if you didn't edit it. And you weren't the producer who had to find the money, and you weren't the costume designer, and you weren't the this and you weren't the that. It probably wouldn't have gotten finished because then you
But
wouldn't have the money to pay
even more than that, Kevin,
yeah.
like I went to the stuff that I was using from law school, I was using to negotiate contracts
And there
and
you go.
rewriting contracts and
Mhm.
understanding contracts. I
Right,
mean, I would encourage everybody to get a lawyer, but up to this day, it's not every single project I get a lawyer for
right.
because you can't afford it. Like lawyers are really expensive. You should get one on big
Yes,
projects, but lawyers are really
right.
expensive. Um,
Yeah, great point.
but cause I had, I'd gone through dental school and being in the sciences, you have like a crazy analytical mind. So you can dissect
Yeah,
things really quickly, really fast, really well. That helped me
yeah,
produce. Think about things that you've never seen before. Um,
yeah.
Another thing too is that I didn't have anybody to produce for me, so I produced. When it was time to direct, my mentor O'Neill was like, "So who you going to get to direct?" And I was like, "Damn, all right, I'll direct." And I ended up directing myself, and
Right.
I was super nervous day one. Like I was so nervous. Like my mom even called me and
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "Yo." She go look up tickets to fly my brother in to direct it for me. And because he was still directing, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And then it turned out great. It really did
Mm.
turn out really good, the pilot, and then the series dropped. And then
Right, right.
it's one of the funniest things because I wasn't here when the series dropped. Like I was with my family.
Mm.
I was visiting my daughter for Christmas when it came out, and like I remember the day I came back to work, which was probably like back like the 27th or the 28th of December, and 4 episodes had been out, and like I walk into the building and everybody is like looking at me, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And like I walk to the front desk, and they're like, "We have not stopped getting calls about Real Friends." Like just people calling the switcher, asking questions about the show.
Yeah, man, yeah,
And
man, yeah,
like
man.
I was just like, yo, this is crazy. And like as soon as I got to my desk, the CEO called me and she was just like, "You ready for season two?" And I was like, "Okay,
Mm.
yeah." And she's like, "Just start writing. How much episodes do you have? When can we start?"
Nice, nice, nice.
It was like one of the best feelings.
Okay, perfect, perfect. I see that's the other lesson from this journey is shoot your film, it opens up opportunities. And it's something I say to people all the time, like um you have an idea, go explore shooting it, at whatever budget you can afford, because you don't know what doors it can open, and just do the best you can.
Yeah.
It's not just about, oh well, I don't have no money, so I'm just gonna just hold up the camera and shoot some. Still do the best you can do, like you did. You run up and down and ask friends for school bag, you get uniform and sew it up yourself and blah blah blah, right? Because you're doing the best you could with what you had, and you brought forth an authentic experience. Now
And Kevin, like
transitioning, hmm,
one thing too is
yeah,
that
man, go ahead.
the other big thing is I would say one thing that I would credit myself for
Hmm.
when we wrapped season one of Real Friends. Everybody in front of the camera, the leads, and everybody behind the camera were all under 25,
Oh
which was
wow, really?
unheard of in Jamaica. Because in
Definitely.
Jamaica the industry is just people been in the industry 30 odd 20 odd years.
Yes.
Everybody behind the camera. So everybody like the camera people, the guys who did camera for me were my friends. Um Tash, Tasha Johnson, who is the
Oh yes.
CEO of um
Okay.
Lab. Me and Tash
Mhm.
went to Campion together. We're in the same class. And she was my production
She's
manager.
CEO or
Production
COO? I think she's COO.
CEO. Yeah, CEO. She's on the
Mm.
board and she was my production coordinator. She held my hand
Oh,
and
okay, cool.
got everything done. She was in
And
all the
Daniel
25
was one of your writers too, right? Daniel, oh God, what Daniel last name again?
that speak
She was either one
Chinese.
of your writers or PhD. Well, yeah, she speaks Chinese because she had gone to university in China.
No,
I don't know why her last name
she
is drawing a blank. Or was she just an intern?
Russell.
Russell, right?
Yeah. She came on in season two to help me like rework the script. She and Letty.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh,
Um
okay. Let's in.
yeah. So they had read the script and they were trying to help me like re look at some of the stuff that I did. But yeah, so
Cool,
get your
cool.
friends together, go shoot it.
Nice, nice, nice. All right. So next thing, because your journey kind of leapfrog from there. Let me ask you before I get into your short films. When was the first time you picked up a camera, and what was that like?
The
Because you
first
talk
time
a lot about the producing and directing, but I know you're a cinematographer as well. So when was the first time you picked up a camera?
I picked up a camera, I think I was maybe like 12 or 13. I got like this old video camera for my birthday and I was taking videos with it, but it got stolen within like a month. Like
Okay.
somebody did thief it. And it
Wow.
but once I'd started, I'd seen Real Friends season 1, and I was like, I think one of the major things I could have upgraded was the cinematography.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
because none of the people who DP'd or were the cameramen were DPs. One
Right,
was our
right, right.
Virgin, he was a graphics guy, and the other Virgin was editor. So I started to learn more about lighting and looking at it differently. And then I DP
Mhm.
season 2, but I'd started to do like some shorts before that. Just trying to do a few little things. And that's when I picked up the camera and was just like, let me see, get myself into it. I bought a camera for season 1, and my mentor, had lent me his camera. We both had 70s. So I had mine, and I'd started just, with my kit lens, just going around, just trying things. And then I just got better on it and better on it. Season 2 was a little bit better because we had gotten a little bit more lights. We had a little bit more time, even though we're doing like 15 days. Um, and that was the first like proper thing that I actually DP'd, that I'd say I DP'd.
Okay, cool. All right. So let me ask this question, right? Because I want to jump into Sweet Rind, but I'm trying to figure out, did you migrate before doing Sweet Rind, or were you still in Jamaica? You were still in
I'm
Jamaica at the
still in
time.
Jamaica. That's in Jamaica.
Okay, cool. So I want you to walk me through the journey now for Sweet Rind, because um it's I'm going to say it's a pretty important film. I mean, it can't not be important if it's won 20 other awards, right?
I
It's
think it's
20 other, it reached 30, it's
like
more than that.
I think it's probably like in the 50s or 40s, right?
Wow. Right. So you can't win that much awards and the film not be important. So, tell me what that journey is like. Tell us, and I mean, without giving too much away, tell us what Sweet Ryan is about.
Oh no, and I can give it away because I mean it's streaming right now. The EP has it on like a a Vimeo site where you can just pay to rent it and stuff like that. And it's not really on the festival circuits anymore. So Sweet Rind luckily fell into my lap. I'm forever grateful for Susan Beadle, who had been approached by the EP, J.R. Roach, to do it, but she didn't feel comfortable and she wanted to just handle the casting. So she passed it on to me. I met with him, interviewed, and I was like, I think this is the idea that I have for it. I read the script, and it was at that time I wasn't working, so I really wanted stuff to do. And Sweet Ryan had a nice, a decent budget attached. A really good budget for a short film. Because at that time I was doing a lot of pilots, I was doing a lot of specs, and those were just like self-funded. Um, and then I was like, okay, we put it together. We had to do it really quick. And fun fact, and these are always good little fun tidbits, is that Sharando also Sharanda wasn't originally casted for that role. It was Camille Davis.
Oh, really? Okay. I did not know that. Interesting.
The EP had wanted her. Like that's the only
Hmm.
person they wanted. I
So
found
what happened
Kadeem.
then?
I was like, I wanted Kadeem for the lead male role. But we auditioned people, but he had it in his mind that he wanted Camille. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea, but if you want her, she can play the role. I was right because Camille had just turned Christian that year.
Mm.
And when she read the script, she called me the next day and she was like, I can't play this role. Too much obia and blah 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 in it.
Mm.
And for anybody listening that is an actor, if you get casted and you get sent the script a week, 5 days before, read the script.
Yep.
Don't wait till the night before.
Yep.
Don't wait till the night before.
Yep.
And then you find out that there's things in there that you don't want to do. And then call the
Mm.
producer and cancel. Because there's 15,
Mm.
20, 25, 30 other people that's showing up the next day. And they
Yep.
might have to cancel because you never read the script. And
Yep.
you cancel last minute. That has happened to me about 3 times.
Yeah, that's happened to me. That's something like that happened to me twice. Well, no, actually 3 times. But one time it wasn't even that they didn't read the script because we had been rehearsing the script.
Mm.
But the person just decided, I don't know, they went out and drinking the night before and just decided them don't feel like get up on the day of the shoot. Yeah, and I was like, what? And I had to find another actor and he had to learn the script in 30 minutes and just
That's crazy.
perform. It was really crazy.
That's awful.
And but the other 2 times, luckily the second time something like that happened is so the actress was coming to rehearsals, but she wasn't reading the script. Because every time we're in rehearsal and it's her time to do the line, she's fumbling through the lines and she's just like, wait, what am I supposed to say again? I'm like, have you been reading the script? No. And then she starts going, wait, was this always in the script? It's like, that's always been in the script. What?
Like,
Because she was a Christian and she had problems with certain lines in the script.
yeah.
And I'm like, you cannot, I was like, we've been rehearsing for weeks. You cannot have problems with these lines. No, we are going to shoot. We're going to shoot in a few weeks. You cannot have problems. No. And she literally was like, boy, she can't say this. No, there was a line she said she can't say, and I took the line out. I said, fine, take the line out. And then there was a line the person playing her husband says, she's not even in the same room when he says it. And she says, no, she can't be in the film if that line is going to be said. I'm like, you're not saying the line. You're not even in the same room. She's like, boy, she can't this and she have to talk to her pastor and da 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 da. And I even went as far as to accommodate. I said, okay, talk to your pastor. And every time I ask her, you talk to your pastor, you talk to your pastor. Oh, not yet, not yet. All right, I'm talking to him now. Da, da, da. And then eventually I just said, sorry, I have to take it off because I can't do this. The line is not coming out. So it's either you can do it or you can't do it. So took her out. And then another situation, boy, I don't know. There's a kiss in the script, and nothing was said even during the shoot. It wasn't until after the shoot is that there was a problem with it. It's like, wait, why would you have a problem? No, because I don't have a problem if you have a problem, but to tell me at this point in time, like,
It's in a tough
look,
situation.
we put you in a tough situation, and I don't want to just go and put it in, and then it's going to be this big problem. Luckily, we cut around it, and we're like, all right, we can do without it, but it really did put us in a predicament because we're like, yo, what if we can't cut that out? What are we going to do? We can't reshoot,
And
and people,
the sad thing about it too is that Jamaica is such, like, as a producer, you're never going to work with that person again.
mm,
And Jamaica's industry is so small where you can't afford to do that because you just can't. It's not that many people in the industry. So
right.
it's I don't know if actors, and I'll ask you this. I'm sure
Uh-huh.
you learn a lesson where if anybody hemming and hawing, you don't even hesitate. You just replace them. Right.
Yeah, no, man, trust me. Like the lesson I learned was that one, like whether they're going to be working for free or not, have a contract. And I don't have a problem if you want to back out, but you cannot back out after we have shot, right? You have to
Oh,
back out before, right? So if you read the script and the script says you're doing X and you sign and you do X, You cannot come to me afterwards and say, "Can you please take out the X?" We'll be like, "No, you signed a contract. We can't do that." Like, I'm not. It's too. I mean, I understand from their point of view, right? What they are uncomfortable with and what they feel they are at risk with. But bear in mind that I am also at risk because I am putting a lot behind the project. Even when a project, even when your project is free, there's still a cost to it because there's the DP who is shooting this to have a reel. There are the other actors who are shooting this to have a reel. There are
Yeah,
the other
time.
people who are working on this. Yeah, they're giving up the time,
Time
they're
not
staying
free.
up till 3 in the morning, etc., etc. And if the product doesn't satisfy, or people even say to you, "Hey, why never make that happen at this point?" And you're like, "Yeah, it did, but we had to cut it out." Those things have an effect. It has an effect. So that, yeah, definitely learned a lesson from that. Still respect the 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 actors, but it definitely makes me know that, all right, I cannot really call on you for certain things. Like even the Christian woman who I had to take out of the project because she couldn't what do you call it, do it with that line in there. She's asked me to cast her in something else, and I tell her flat out, I was like, I'm not going to cast you in, like, if I cast you in something, it has to be a Christian film. I'm not casting you in anything else. She's like, no, but I can do other roles. Like, no,
Hmm.
it has to be a Christian film because I don't want a situation where, I don't know, somebody say a word you don't like, and then you're like, oh, that goes against my values, and then I can't change a film just for one person.
No.
It's not, it don't make sense. So, but yeah, but back to Sweet Rind.
Yeah.
So you say Sharando.
Yeah, and because Sharonda had been in Real Friends season one, has been a friend. She was the on-set mom, was taking care of a lot of people, and she just killed that role. Like that role,
Mm-mm.
she because out of all of the awards, I'm sure Sharonda has like three quarters of them, and deservedly so.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean that short film was serendipitous. Because I think Chris had come on board, and Chris had just really wanted to shoot something interesting, so Chris had
And just for the audience, we're talking Chris Brownie,
Brownie, yeah.
Jamaican filmmaker, cinematographer.
So
Mm.
randomly I just hit up Chris, and Chris decided to do it well below his rate. I think he had like a new camera he wanted to test out, so he had brought it out, and I mean, the cast was great. I found all the locations, and I produced it and directed it. And it was a tough script to direct because 90% of it happens in one room, and it is like
Yeah.
25-minute short film. How do you
Mm.
keep your audience engaged? And
Right, right.
originally, all those cutaways away from the room wasn't in the EP had no intentions of shooting that. And I was just like, there's no way we can be in this room for so long. And,
Right.
so funny enough, we shot there that the people always ask me where I find that, because I was supposed to be the basement of the church that
Mm.
Sharonda's character father owned. And Jamaica don't have basements, really.
True.
So that was like an old, broken down building with a courtyard.
Okay.
And when you look at it, like you would have go there in the day and you'd just be like, hmm. But all the moss and the dirt had given it so much texture that I didn't have to do anything when I went to that location.
Mm.
And it was like a community out by Caymanos. So we
Uh-huh.
shot that right there because that was a football field next to the cane field. We shot in the cane field. Across from the football field is the bar that we shot the bar scene. And then next door to the bar was this man that was building a house. And we gave him some money and he to do the Obia scene. So like we had everything, even though we shot 3 days, we had everything in this small location. So like we had very small company moves.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a really good shoot. Sharanda gave everything. Kadeem was tied up in that chair for 2 days, 2.5 days. You know, the art direction by Rochelle was great. And as I said, like just doing all these stuff, like choosing the wardrobe, the thing around the slaves' necks. I was the one that went to the carpentry wood shop across the road from my house and got them to build that. I did all that, found all of the locations. I was paying everybody. And that's the thing, like as a filmmaker, you jack of all trades, that could be the theme of the episode, is that you just had to do a lot of stuff, and I directed it. I didn't DP that one because I think the story was worth a better DP than me. And there's no better DP in Jamaica than Chris. And Chris really showed out and shot a beautiful short film. And yeah, it turned out great. It really turned out great. It took us a while. We butted heads with the EP because we weren't getting into a lot of film festivals at first. And we didn't get into the big film festivals. But one of the main things was that the short film was too long. It's 25 minutes with long monologues. It's hard to program 25 minutes. You want to be at like 10, 12 max.
Right.
So there is a 10-minute version to Sweet Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There is a very, very good 10-minute version. But the EP is the writer. So that pissed him off because most of his script is out of there.
No, I can imagine. And that's the thing, I find that and to be honest, this is why they don't let the writer be on set. And I mean it's funny because I was a part of a film called Unbound, and I think the original film was maybe 35 minutes long, right? I don't think it was quite 40. It was maybe like anywhere between 35 to 38. I think it was probably 38 minutes long. And same thing, it wasn't programming well. So they had cut it down to, I think it was 30 minutes or 28 minutes so that it could program a little better. And, I know the particular scene that they cut out, I know the writer was like, but thankfully the writer was not the EP, so EP just made a decision that, you know what, this scene actually not necessary, like if we got rid of it, you wouldn't even know it's missing. And it's true, like you don't, you really don't know that it's missing.
But for the audience, when we say program, meaning that film festivals have blocks and they would rather show 5 10-minute films than 2 25-minute films. So they're gonna program for those short films.
Yeah, and to put it into perspective, essentially with film festivals, just like TV, they run in these, half an hour, 1 hour blocks, and 90 minutes for when they have feature films. And they might have spaces in between, and they can fit in a 5-minute film here, a 10-minute film there. When your film is like 20 something, it doesn't quite fit anywhere. It throws off the program, it throws off the schedule. Sticking a 22-minute thing here, it's gonna run 2 minutes too long into something else, or it might run 12 minutes too long. And I go, nah, a 5-minute thing can fit here easily. So that's what we mean by,
Yeah, because film festivals are like a 10-minute short and then a 20-minute Q&A.
Right. Yeah,
or
exactly.
or like 3 4 10-minute shorts and then a 20-minute Q&A of all the
Right.
directors. So they want things that can fit into a block.
Yeah.
So, and people don't tell you about stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
No,
don't
very
think about,
true.
but you have to, like, you have to think
Yeah,
about stuff like that.
yeah, you do, you do. So after that, you moved to Atlanta, right?
Yeah, yeah. So right after we shot that, I was at UE at the time. I graduated and then came to Atlanta. Um, I came right during the pandemic.
Oh,
Uh,
really? Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay. No, no,
So
I
I
thought it
was
was long.
supposed to leave the December, and my father was like, "Yeah, man, come home. I have a couple stuff to do, with the job, I call his company, and he wanted me to do
Mm.
stuff." And then I end up stay, and then I remember Andrew Holness closed the borders. It was like
Ah.
in 2 3 days. Was like, "Yo, borders closing." And I sort of myself. So I bought a one-way ticket to come here. No, to come out to go to New York. My mother say, "Where in the world you going?" Because she works in Manhattan, and
Okay.
that was ground zero at the time.
Oh
You
yeah,
remember, like,
yeah,
there was
yeah.
army and tanks going through Times Square and all of that stuff. She was like, the safest place for you to be is in Jamaica. And on the way to the airport, she's cussing me off. Why you leaving Jamaica? The world shutting down. Zombies on the road, like losing it. And I went to the airport and I was like, you know what, let me stay. She might be right. And I wasted like 3 months in Jamaica during the pandemic lockdown, just drinking in my neighborhood with my neighbors. Um, and luckily, funny enough, I got on a flight out of Jamaica. It was a chartered flight by United for American citizens that had gotten stuck in Jamaica, that sold out all of the flights to the Americans, and they had a couple seats left. Randomly, I am online checking, and everything is blacked out except this one day. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Let me buy this ticket. Buy the ticket. Thinking it's a scam. Them will refund my money. And eventually I got on the flight and I went to the airport, and the airport staff was like, we haven't been here in like 3 months. They just told us to come this one day. And literally it
Oh.
was one desk doing checking in the entire departures, one line in security, one gate open. And that's how I
Talk about
escaped.
divine.
That's how I escaped Jamaica.
Talk about divine.
It's like I even call I FaceTime my friends and they're like, "Yo, we saw you last week. Where where are you?" I'm like, "Yo, I left," and they're like, "Oh." But yeah, I had to leave. And then I came here. Me and my brother came here, and then I enrolled in SCAD. So that was my plan
Mm,
because there was a pandemic. You can't network. Nothing is going on. So I was like, "Yo, let me go do my masters in film." Great way to meet people that are still
yeah.
collaborating with today. Learned a ton, shot a bunch of short films. Yeah, and then that's how I got my start in the industry. So how you've heard me say I produce, I direct, cinematographer. How do I own a grip truck company? And I gaffing now. Well, while I was at school, I writing, I producing, I directing, but you can't be on set full time and go to school. It's impossible.
Mm,
Film industry is 5 days a week, 14, 15 hours, 12 hours minimum. Like, but you go in 1 hour commute, and if you're a PA, you're setting up afterwards and doing all sorts of things. And you have to come in early and stuff like that. Like, I remember
yeah.
the first studio job I got, and I had my phone online in my top pocket in Zoom classes with my AirPods on while I'm on set. And that first day was 22 hours
Wow.
because we were as COVID compliance. and you had to come in before everybody. So you had to come in before the crew to test everybody. And then the talent comes in and then they test them. And then they go off and do their thing. So you coming in like 4, 5, 6 hours before everybody else.
Yeah,
Because you have to build
yeah.
up the tents and get the
Right,
test set and all the signs and blah, blah, blah. And disinfect that. But then you still had to, after you do that, you're on set with everybody else. So even though it might be a 14, 15-day work day for everybody else, you're working a 21-hour day. So that never worked because we started to go back on set, and then I ended up starting working with a grip truck company, and because a lot of their jobs were like music videos, commercials. You work in a day, you maybe working 2 days. Music videos, most of it is music videos, so you work in 1 day. And I was working with this grip truck company for like 2, 3 years, and then I started just gripping and gaffing and getting on set and like working on these tremendous sets. Like
yeah.
shot promos, lit promos for the World Series, promo videos for like Halle Berry, her MMA.
That movie.
We
I
did the
love that
promo
movie.
for that. We ended up just doing a lot of things because it was this grip truck company that was like one of the biggest in Atlanta. They when they were growing out, they were looking for people. I hadn't done any grip work at that time, but I called and I was like, yeah, I'll work. I saw like an ad on Facebook, and then I was like, yeah, I called the owner and I was like, yeah, man, been gripping for like 4 or 5 years, send me on jobs. And then I just kept working and working, and it fit with my school schedule. So I ended up starting to do that. And how I ended up gaffing is that after that is like been deep in Jamaica, so I had equipment in Jamaica, so I brought it up, and then I just kept adding equipment over time, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm not too far away from my grip truck. I bought the truck, bought the extra equipment to build up my 2-ton grip truck, and it was a great decision because I had wanted to stop gaffing and DPing. And then the first year I did that was like right after the strike. And I did not work at all. Like, if it's 12 months out of the year, I maybe had like 4 or 5 jobs because nothing was shooting, nobody was hiring. And I was like, let me go back to gaffing, that easier to get on set. And, I was gaffing, and then I bought the truck, and then, start the grip truck company. I hire people from SCAD, from film school. If you have some good gaffers, I get like the head of the department, film department, to like recommend people. So, I'm bringing on these kids because, they're really good, but their rates are way lower. So people who have the smaller budgets getting these really good kids to come in and work for them.
Right.
That's how I ended up also gaffing. So I DP primarily, but honestly, this year I've shot 3 features, a documentary, but I've been on set more as a gaffer than as a DP.
Gotcha.
Experience the magic of live stories. Ever wondered what goes into crafting the next great film or stage play? At Unscripted Sundays, you don't just watch, you become a part of the process. Discover exciting new stories from talented writers and see actors bring them to life, all in real time. Your feedback helps shape the next big hit. Unscripted Sundays is brought to you by Yardbridge Entertainment in association with Johnny Life Productions. Unscripted Sundays, fresh stories, raw talent, real reactions.
And then, what point did you step into to Silver Silhouette, and like, what was the directing philosophy you brought to Silver Silhouette?
Yeah, Silver Silhouettes, after Sweet Ryan did so successful, but this time I was in America, so I didn't produce it because I wasn't on the ground to produce in Jamaica. So I just directed it and DP'd it. It was, the EP sent me the script, and he was like, yeah, we want to shoot this day. And I was like, all right, I just shot a feature, so I'd taken off time from school. So right after shooting that feature, I went on to do Silver Silhouette. And You
What
were
was the name of
there,
that feature?
huh?
What was the name of that feature?
Till my casket drops.
Till my
Um,
casket drops.
yeah,
Interesting.
it. I don't know. It was very successful book, urban drama. We shot it. Me and my friend from film school. She dropped out, and we had worked together on a couple of her shots in school. She had gotten this film to direct and produce. She called me. And I was like, I'm there. So I took the semester off and we shot that film in, I think, 13 days.
Really?
Same kind of hustle mentality. It was a lot of friends. The budget wasn't big. She brought her mom and her dad from out of town. They catered, they cooked every day. So it was like this labor of love that ended up being wildly successful.
Mm.
Wildly successful. I mean,
Yeah, I'm looking here on IMDb. I see here director writer Queen Norris.
hmm
After witnessing his mother's murder, Mayhem grows up in a life of drugs, murder, and getting money by any means necessary. Life moves fast for him until he's met with betrayal and has to make a life-changing decision to save his life and the life of a woman. And it looks good.
shot
It
it.
looks good.
Small skeleton crew, and it had a couple Tubi stars. It was a very successful book, so the crowd just came to it.
Oh, I realized Jamal Woolard was in it.
Yeah,
That's
from
the guy who played Biggie, right?
yep.
Wow, cool.
Marquise Moore, who he was in
Mm-hmm.
ATL.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Cheney, he is in Sins and Sinners, and he was on The Wire. He had a big character role in The Wire in season one. So had just familiar faces, and it was already a successful book. I think
Mm-hmm.
on Amazon it has like 5,000 reviews or something like that.
Oh, nice. So
And
you went,
Kevin,
to,
they made back their money
yeah.
within a week.
Oh, really?
No, not even a week. So their first, so to be paid by quarters,
Yeah, yeah.
they tripled their budget, what they
Oh,
paid for
wow.
in the first quarter.
Nice.
And they couldn't get another movie going fast enough. So we shot a series for them for the same EP in 2023. And then that is out right now. That's called Thugs Cry. I was a DP on that. And
Mm-hmm.
then that's on Tubi right now, doing really successful. It's, in the top 10 recommended dramas. And then I adapted one of his books. And that's the next project we're working on. But yeah, I mean, and it's just been picking up jobs, meeting people, networking. But Silver Silhouette, it was another interesting project. Yende is remarkable in it. I had a great time DP in it. It's not as successful as Sweet Rind because, and another thing you learn with short films is how you position the short film. So Sweet
Yes.
Rind is like this historical drama with like slavery, and it's almost very educational. So it
Right,
talk
right,
about
right.
things about Jamaica like Fifi and Grand Market and all of that stuff. So it programs well in the global south.
Yeah.
That type of film festival where you want to capture history and um, talk about who we are and stuff like that. Silver Silhouette doesn't really have like a great position of where it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it hasn't programmed as well. But it's still like this really cool story. Um, I think it was shot well. I did my first like stunt in there, where you as the coordinator, of course, and and it had its ups and downs and it bumps in the road, but it
Mm-hmm.
was a really really cool project to work
Yeah.
on. Kadeem came back. Yendi was phenomenal. I
Yes.
did
Yeah,
not
the
think.
Phillips.
Yeah, I didn't. Yendi
Mm-hmm.
Phillips. She's the lead, and she was so humble, sit on
Yeah,
the
man.
ground with us all the time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Between
She was
scenes.
cool. She was cool. She was definitely cool, man.
And I had no idea that she could act, but she multi-talented, so
Yeah,
she
man.
can do
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah,
mean, the thing about it is, like, you raise a great point about the difference in success and, programming, or positioning your film rather. That's something that, I think I need to bring up as a topic one day on a podcast, because I always like talking about film festivals and film festival strategy. I consider myself a film festival strategist, just having, you know, entered so many film festivals. And of course, one of the things I try to get across to people is that, look, you're gonna get more rejections than than selections, right? And,
easily
like, yeah, people look at me and say, yo, you get so many film festival, selections. I'm like, I have far more rejections,
10
like
times the amount
far
of
more.
rejections.
Yeah, man. I'm like, you might look on my film freeway, and when you look at the selections, you go, wow. And then when I click and show you rejected, you scroll, scroll, scroll. But,
Yeah,
you know, you're absolutely right in the sense that, like, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna enter Sundance, or I'm gonna enter this, and you're like, that's not necessarily the type of film that they're looking for. And if you get rejected by Sundance, it's not that your film is bad. It's just not what they're looking for. And
just
that
like
just
the way
goes across. Right. Because, like, a silver silhouette, like you said, it wouldn't necessarily program well in a global south or film festivals where they're looking for black historic type stuff, like a Pan African Film Festival might say, oh yeah, we love Sweet Rind. What name? Windrush might say we like it. Stuff like that. But Sweet Rind, I mean not Sweet Rind, Silver Silhouette say be like, but maybe a noir film festival might like it, or
yeah, or
you know,
women, something about women and being abused, or so like you have
right?
to, and the world we exist right now is like all algorithms. So if you
Yes,
figure out like what is where your niche is, how it relates, like figure that out and then tailor your film festival run to that. And you can also reverse engineer where you can say you want to go to those film festivals. Go look what film festivals and films
yeah,
get in those festivals, but also
exactly,
look at what they stand for. What they,
right,
if you have a LGBTQ film, go enter into LGBTQ plus
right,
film festivals. If you want strong women lead, look at film festivals that look at those sort of stuff, because
yeah,
there are a million film festivals and they're not all just doing everything. You just have to find
exactly.
where to position yourself.
Yeah. And it's just a great lesson for distribution on a whole. I would say film festival is almost like a nursery for, distribution. It's almost like the baby school for distribution, because TV is the same way, and even streaming platforms are the same way. Yes, streaming platforms are looking for a wide variety of things, but if you have three different streaming platforms, say Disney, Netflix, and Apple, while they all have crime dramas, romance, comedy, etc., there still feels like there's a distinct difference in the writing and the pacing and all of these different things,
Like
right? And it's the
you
same.
see how Apple over like the last year and a half, 2 years, position themselves like
Mhm.
quirky, offbeat,
Right,
sci-fi, weird kind of things. Like
right. And
that,
when they
that's
have dramas, it's usually based on some true story, sort of thing. Whereas I find Netflix is some very offbeat, bizarre, like, they have a lot of crime dramas where you're just like, who thinks of these things? Their comedies, in my opinion, Netflix comedies are not that great. I
no.
rather go to Apple for comedies. But when it comes to some kind of offbeat crime thriller or action thriller, Netflix is great. Disney tends to be more your
Sitcoms.
sitcoms and adventure, Marvel stuff, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's and the same thing, like if you go down to TV, BET Plus, HBO, Showtime, Stars, they're all looking for different things. And you can't, if you have something that is very high key, bright, chirpy, romantic, maybe you can go to Lifetime Movie Network, but you can't go to HBO with that.
No.
And vice versa. You can't go with something dark and gritty. and say I'm going to Lifetime with this. You know,
You
it's just
can't take a
not.
Christmas movie and say you're going to go Disney. You go
Mm-mm.
Hallmark with that. You go Lifetime.
Exactly,
So,
exactly, and it's the same with festivals. You know,
and I
same.
think, that's one of the things that, I wanted, as I said, back to the jack of all trades, master of none, is that one of the things that I saw as a gap in the industry coming in,
Mm,
I said to myself, figure out the business of film,
yeah.
learn that. And then that has caused me to be as successful as I am.
Mm,
Because everybody, they're a DP, they're an actress, they're a director, but you make this beautiful thing and you put it in carry. Like, that's not gonna make you make back your money because film is
yeah.
expensive.
It is.
Um,
It is.
how do you position yourself? And I think the other thing that I looked at too is that if you look at the movies that really runs the industry, makes the industry go, it's the overseas big budget films.
Mm,
Not realizing there's an entire industry of independent films, independent black films, independent horror films that has their own niche that is making tons of money.
you're
Like
right.
Atlanta to us, it was in second to Detroit. Detroit runs black independent cinema right now
Oh,
because
really?
they position themselves as that black Hollywood. And most of the movies that you see on Tubi right now, which is like where black independent cinema lives and grows, a lot of it comes from some of the most successful is from Detroit.
Mm,
Atlanta has the resources, so people who had the resources came and followed, but it came from Detroit, and that's something that I'd love to see Jamaican cinema has a home. Sadly enough, Tubit isn't in Jamaica yet, and I
right.
think
Yeah.
Jamaican content would do really well
I think so too.
because it's free to join. It's free to join. That's the main thing. Jamaicans don't like pay for it.
Right.
No offense.
No, it's
Um,
true. We
fully
don't.
offended that. No offense. Because I'm Jamaican, but yeah, Jamaicans don't like pay for it. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
put out a short film and you put out a trailer, people say, "Can you put it on YouTube?" I'm like, I'm not gonna make no money from YouTube. Why would I do that?
Right, right,
Because I
right.
can't see it for free. I don't want to buy it. I don't want to go to Caribou and watch it. I don't want to pay for it to rent it. I want to watch it for free.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jamaican content would do really well on Tubi. Pluto TV, all of those free commercial based streaming platforms. So learn the industry, learn what else is going on around there. When I was coming up, everybody was talking about Nollywood and what they're doing. And I was saying to myself, I went and did case studies and looked at it. And I'm like, we don't have the population of Nigeria. We don't
No,
have the diaspora of Nigeria. So
yeah,
even if we make these movies, we can't have that it machine like them because we just don't have the people. Nigeria have what 200 and odd million people,
yeah. 263 million people. Yeah,
263 million people.
3.9.
They have enough people
Yeah,
to power that industry.
yeah.
We don't. We
We
have 3 million people here, 3.5.
exactly. Yeah. Um, and that's the thing. We are literally 100th the size of Nigeria. It's not going to make any sense. If they sold to even a quarter of their population, it's far more than us.
Yeah.
Same way, So yeah, but all right. Let me ask you a few more questions because we've been going on a little while. So let's see if we can get some quick answers. What do you miss about filming in Jamaica?
What do I miss about filming in Jamaica? Getting juicy beef for breakfast. And that's not even a joke. Like I was a gaffer on Rascas and Chris Brown's commercial for Father's Day, and they got somebody's mother to come and cater, and when I came on set the morning, 8 o'clock call time, so I'm there from like 7:45, and I see mackerel rundown with fried dumpling and banana. You know, I said, "You don't have to pay me. I'm good. I'm good. I'm here." But more than that, the friendships. Like I've had the privilege of like working with friends. Um, you know, real friends. It was like a family shooting. Like, I mean, I'm still in touch with some of the most of the talent, the leads that are around me. Friend. I was in Canada this summer and I went and saw Crystal who played Stephanie. We're still close friends. You know, if Kevo ain't never gone Africa, we used to par before. He went Africa. And I think
Yes.
that here you're so far away from the leads, which is it's not as like this family, because like you work on a studio project, you're rarely getting in touch, seeing those lead people. Even on independent stuff, you do 10 days, they're gone, you don't really see them. I love the camaraderie, I love the family vibe. I just I worked with a lot of friends in Jamaica. I kind of don't miss the chaos. I definitely kind of, because film, some projects, like especially if you've been on music videos in Jamaica, it is organized chaos.
Yeah, man.
I miss the excitement. So like when anybody sees you filming in Jamaica, what that you know I feel a movie?
Put
Like
me night, put
just
me night. Give
excited.
me a roll.
Just excited.
Yeah,
Excited.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
ever say, yo, come, we'll put you in it.
Yep.
No, man, I just play me up. You're serious? No, man, you should, like that sort of vibe, because they film all the time in Atlanta, like nobody
Yeah,
cares.
yeah, yeah. Nobody
It's
cares.
just another project. Um, that I do miss. That I absolutely
Cool.
do miss. You
All right.
draw a
What
cloud.
it, true, true, true. What is something that you think we get right in Jamaica in the film industry?
um, One thing that Jamaican we get right in Jamaica, and it's brought me so far, is that you always know to work within limited resources because there's never enough money.
Mm,
And I'm sure if you go on to big Hollywood movies, they'll tell you that they don't have enough budget or they made some
right.
concessions. Like there's never enough money. But in Jamaica, like you know how to, you bareface know how to beg, borrow, and steal. First of all, because
Mm,
that's all
mm,
you have. That's like the number one lesson you get on a film set. Like
right.
start producing, like you have to be able to be resourceful to find locations, props. You're begging family, you're borrowing from friends, all of this stuff. So I think that is one thing we do very right. Um, to our detriment, I think Jamaica TV industry does too much talk shows.
Mm.
We have the same version of the same show with just a different host. The
Yeah, yeah, I get you.
sit down, tell me about your life story. How did you overcome this and that? I would have loved to see, and you can shoot 5 of those in one day, and you can program on TV for
True.
5 days of the week, and the sets are simple and they have all the equipment to do that, because it doesn't, the same thing that shoots Smile Jamaica, they just turn the cameras around and shoot those programs, or they just
Right,
roll
right.
it. um Dramas, I would love to see more dramas, and as I said, to our detriment, we don't do that. What I'm seeing now, and I don't love it, but it is something that even Clear Grant said at TVJ to me 12, 13 years ago, is what I'm seeing now, where people are taking studios and building 10 sets and shooting, 5 movies with those 10 sets and just recycling
Right.
them. The 10 sets are hospital, church, house, apartment, police station, lawyer office, and they just write those things and just take one day to shoot exteriors and then just rinsing those studios. And I think that's one thing somebody could decide. Is it great projects? No, they're horrible,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but they're. I've seen it here that they're pushing out content at a crazy rate.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's an opportunity right now with vertical filmmaking, whether you like it or not. I know there's a lot of DPUs who, when you mention it, they get sick just hearing it. But the truth is,
Directors too.
yeah, but the truth is, to me, it is the equivalent of when a Robert Rodriguez made El Mariachi, and you had your video rental age. It's the new video rental age because now you can turn the camera vertically. You have less of a background space to worry about, so less set design.
Less
And
lighting.
right. And because you're watching it on the phone, people are expecting these 1 to 3 minute films that just grabbing them interest. And for the most part, the writing is bad. I've seen some of the writing is actually pretty good, but for the most part, it's a lot of people treating people really badly and these underdog stories, but it grabs you. You're on the toilet and you're watching it and you're so into it that a lot of people say, "Oh, they end up getting late for work because they got caught up in this." So when you have these rinse and repeat sets, it's kind of easy now to churn out these little micro dramas. And from what I was reading, a lot of people, especially like even during the what you call it, the it's like I want to say rise, but it's not rise strikes. Like a lot of these micro vertical dramas is what was giving them some money,
Yeah.
giving them some jobs. So
Yeah,
there's
and the
opportunity.
thing is, right now they're not even like on the underground. Like they're getting bigger budgets now.
Yep.
And I tell people all the time, like they started out. What those budgets started out when I did my first one 2 years ago is more than double now for a
Yeah.
normal one, and
Brother,
they're putting money into it.
I see it go from like your typical talking heads drama to now I am seeing visual effects and wire work and Hong Kong cinema level things, and I'm like, what is going on
Yeah,
here?
the
Like
thing
proper
with it
budget, I
is
said.
The thing with it, and it's just the economy of film. It's
Mm,
where they're still cheap, but
yeah.
they're still making enough money right now. Where if you make one, you're gonna make your money back.
Right.
And the two things is the format, because more people are watching things on their phone now than ever before. So
Right.
that is where your audience is, and they're used to watching things on the phone. And then
Right.
secondly, people are watching things now with subtitles more than
Yeah.
ever before. So your
Yeah.
film can travel further than ever before.
Yeah. And
Like,
you know the other
yeah,
thing? You know why I think vertical dramas are doing really, really well right now? Because there are low expectations, you can find anything. And what I mean by that is when you look at your Netflixes, your Apple, your HBO, etc., because they are spending huge budgets, they have to have some guarantee they're making their money back. So they're looking at, okay, um, you know what? This is not doing well, so we're not making these type of movies, right?
no,
Um,
there's
but
the same thing happening with the verticals. Trust
oh,
me.
really? Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
just had a conversation with a producer about that
Mm,
just this weekend. Um, if a black lead vertical doesn't do well, nobody will
Oh well.
lead vertical. And they're honestly, it's because it's the format. Just like with social media, oh, one thing does well, and it's everything in history. One thing does well,
Mm.
everybody. They literally. I have worked on a vertical, and then went back and found the same vertical just with different actors, same
Right.
exact script. They on
Wow.
the same platform. They just reshot it,
They just reshot it.
or we reshot the first one. This looks very much the same,
Right.
but what I
Oh,
do
well,
love is that
that's interesting. And
they write and produce for the format, which is, if you read what's the book, Rebel Without a Cause, that's Robert Rodriguez's book.
no, yeah.
He wrote a lot of the script for what he was shooting, the budget that he had, the format and
Yeah,
size.
yeah.
They are doing that on verticals because
Right.
they're shooting stuff, writing stuff for 80% of it is in one location.
Right.
And that's something that also Jamaica has to learn how to do. You know, even though we can get a lot of free locations in Jamaica, look, company moves, all of that, it takes up time. If you're at a location and you have walkaways, so you wrap at 4:45, you can set up for the next setup the next morning
Right.
with lights and everything.
Yeah.
So you land, and in 30 minutes you're rolling. You know,
Yeah, man.
that's
No,
how
I've been
they
in
work it.
I've been in that situation, I would say twice to my memory, right? One of them was the short film Raw Materials, and the other one, so Raw Materials was Icon Media, Wynter Kelly and his wife Cecilia Nixon. She wrote it and directed it, and it was one location, and it was somebody's house, somebody they knew. They got the house, they repainted the house, they redecorated the house, everything, and they just set up the lights, and literally you walk in the morning, you switch the lights on, you're ready to shoot. You're finished for the day, you go back to the hotel, you sleep, you get up the next morning, you're ready to shoot. There's no driving the equipment, offloading the equipment, setting up the equipment, pulling down the equipment, packing up, but there's none of that. And then the other time was during the pandemic, Icon Media again, we shot a web series in their house, and we were there for 1 week shooting it. So the lights are set up, and it's literally you shoot, you eat dinner, you sleep, you wake up, you shoot, you eat dinner, you sleep, you wake up. So it was just seamless. You never have to wake up the crack of dawn to go jump in a car, to go drive to a location, to go offload equipment. You're just already there. And it was the most comfortable experience,
Yeah,
you know, very comfortable experience knowing that, all right, yeah, I don't have to, after a long 14, 15, 16 hour day of shooting, I have to now pack up equipment, and then you have to be double checking that leaving the equipment, da 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 da, da, like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and we do need to embrace that for sure. Is that the one thing that you think? And I just want one thing, if you can think of something other than what you said. What's the one thing you think you would change about the film industry in Jamaica, or the one thing you'd love to see changing?
the one thing I'd change is, I mean, obviously, and I won't use this as, I won't count this, but I think the film fund has to continue. But what I would have loved to see is resources and a government arm being the missing link what the industry needs, meaning that there is a unit that is just for film distribution.
Mm-hmm.
because that is the real miss. Like, if we can figure that out, and that is the empty hole, because the knowledge is not there for Jamaican film industry, because we're
Yeah.
we're in the age of information, but a lot of things, like, you have to be there. Like, AFM was last week, and I'm gonna go talk to my buddy that went, and he's gonna give me all of the industry information on it. Like, if you don't have that industry information and connections and stuff like that, you can't grow the industry, because the industry cannot make money, so it cannot
Right.
sustain itself. And I've long thought that would have been one of the most helpful things. It's
Mm-hmm.
great that, the film commission goes and meets with other film commissions and stuff like that, but I would love to see some arm set up just to go and sell,
Right.
or
Right.
be the middleman, in that sales process.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's actually something that I'm trying to learn right now, because for me, as much as I love ADing, and I definitely love writing and directing, writing is something I definitely can't give up. Directing is something I don't want to give up if I can help it. But for me, the ADing thing is taking a toll on me physically, especially when you have a child and family and trying to balance, work and family. So I've kind of been looking more to the business side, and like you said, distribution is definitely the key. I know a lot of people, and I know right now somebody's listening and going, "No, distribution can't be the key because we don't have enough films to distribute." But it's a chicken and egg thing. For me,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
budget doesn't come unless you have distribution. Like as soon as you go to an investor and you go to them with a great idea, one of the things that I keep telling filmmakers is, when you go to an investor, their job is not to put money into a good idea, right? A good idea is a dime a dozen. People come to them with good ideas every day. If you have money, people are going to come to you with good ideas every day. The difference is, how can you guarantee that I will make my money back? And distribution is the only way. So
yeah,
if two of you come to me with a real friends concept, but one of you tells me you already have distribution, I'm going to put my money in the one who already has distribution, because it's like, okay, this is guaranteed that money is going to come back, right? I don't know how much it, but at least we know that there's a pipeline for it. You don't have distribution. It's like, all right, so when I give you the money and you make the film, how are you going to sell it? Who are you selling it to? You know, so it has to be figured out. And beyond even figuring it out, people need to learn how to package their film to be ready to be distributed. It's not just I have the film. There's a lot more that goes into it. Even on the lower film festival level, somebody will have a film, and they'll be like, hey, this film festival interested in your film, but they don't have a poster, they don't have a trailer, they don't have a bio, they don't have a press kit, nothing. They just have the film. And the festival is like, I need a poster, I need a trailer, I need it because I need to promote the film as well, you know. And they're gonna give preference to somebody who has the package ready. Same thing
yeah,
with these distributors. They need to have the package. It works like a Netflix. You don't have subtitles yet, I'm not doing it for you. So you need to have it sorted out. So yeah, that's a good one. Distribution for sure. What advice can you give other filmmakers for breaking into the industry, whether Jamaica or overseas, but especially transitioning to overseas?
network. Um,
Hmm.
Try to get on set as much as possible. I was guilty of early on not wanting to PA by the time I started to direct Real Friends. And I was very wrong about that, because, PAing, you get to see how other directors work, how other people in the industry work. You make connections, you connect with, try to, you always hear this, people don't say it enough, but also network horizontally instead of vertically.
Hmm.
Build with people at the same level, build with
Hmm.
people who are trying to come up to, give them an extra hand, because the famous thing is that you help a PA this year, 2 years from now they're the director of a big movie. You never know.
That's very true. I think I'm trying to remember. Was it Samuel L. Jackson who said it?
It's
It's
a
not
very
Denzel.
common
It
thing.
might have been Sam, but I think it was Samuel L. Jackson. He was really nice to a PA on set,
Mhm.
and then years later the PA was directing him, and the PA was, when he was a director, said to Sam Jackson, say, "Yo, you don't remember me, don't you?" And he's just like, no, he's like, "I was a PA on this movie." I was like, "You were really, really, really nice to me," and like that was a big reason why the director even hired Sam in the first place. He was like, "Yeah, man, more on him because he was really nice to me on set." And Sam was
Yeah,
like, "See there
there's
now."
tons and tons of stories like that in the industry. People talk about stuff like that all the time. So even me, like now, like upcoming direct DPs, I'll give an opportunity with like the grip shot just to be able to use equipment they probably wouldn't have gotten the
Right,
opportunity to
right, right.
use. I work with IDP film school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of the best stories are out of film school because they're really personal. People been waiting their whole life to tell this story, and they have some
Right,
really good
right.
stories to tell.
Yeah.
So don't overlook those sort of things. Yeah, just try to create as much as possible, learn as much as possible. Um, don't be scared to put your work out, get it critiqued. And I think that is what this generation will be better than us at, because influencers and content creators are putting out content every single day, and they have the best feedback loop in existence.
True.
So they know what works,
True.
what don't works, like that. So don't be afraid to put stuff out. And I'd love to see content creators in Jamaica transition to filmmaking, because you
Mm-hmm.
have some really good, like 5, 6 years, even as a TVJ, nobody can't tell me say Dale and Prince Pine are not geniuses. Like,
True.
I still laugh at Prince Pine videos
Yep.
now.
Yep.
And give him give him the same opportunity that Eddie Murphy got.
Right.
Just make him be himself for 90 minutes. And
Mm-hmm.
give him a good script and a good director to direct him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Dale has gone to stand up, so and he's gone in that direction, but still storytelling, still hilarious. Give him
Yeah.
the opportunity.
Yeah.
I want to see, like, and there are tons of them in Jamaica, content
Yeah, man. Yeah,
creators that
man.
I would watch. I'd watch. I'd watch. Give them a sitcom. Give them 22 minutes.
Yeah.
A
No, you know
story
who's
around
doing
them.
really
Just
good?
oh
He's an actor. His name is Levy. He has a YouTube channel. I think it's called Levi Entertainment, or
yeah
yeah, I think he's doing really good because he used to just do these skits where he would, like, these TikTok skits where he would voice over Twins Are Twins or
yeah
Ninja
yeah
Man
yeah.
clips and act them out in some kind of real life scenario. And then eventually he just started doing his own skits.
Mhm.
And I've seen where his camera quality getting better and better and better. And he's doing it as a means to promote himself as an actor, and he's getting practice as well. Because you see
Oh,
where he started out kind
he's
of,
making money too. Trust me.
yeah, make money. So you're right. Like this generation, they're much more adept at creating content on a regular basis, turning them over quickly, and as you say, what work, what don't work, and you just discard the fat,
And no big
and just
budget.
no big budget.
Don't have to
And then,
go out and raise money for funding.
and the most important thing is that they're building an audience, and that's the key. Building an audience is key. When they decide to do a feature film, people are going to watch it without them even trying because they already have the audience. All right, so I have one last question for you.
Yep.
When we're going to see the reboot of Real Friends?
Unless the character is gonna be parents, I don't see that happening. And you can't get Kevin to come back from Ghana right now. So
Well, I mean, let me tell you, technically speaking, because I'm a writer, I think quickly. Technically speaking, him being in Ghana is perfect because in the last episode, there was some confrontation and some murder, if I remember correctly. maybe him leave Jamaica and have to run because, 'cause wasn't there some alter? I'm trying to remember what the last episode. There was something and it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it was I don't even remember how that's.
He was kidnapped, dragged
No man,
somewhere.
they found him. They ended up finding him.
They ended up finding him.
They ended up finding him, and then they ended up at graduation. But yeah.
Oh, I must have missed that episode.
But yeah, I mean that'd be cool. I actually had an outline for a Real Friends movie. That was the plan to do
Mhm.
after season 2. That never came to pass. I really wish it would have. But we'll see. I have other Jamaican stories. I just
Yeah.
need to find an outlet to shoot them when I'm working on them. Working on
Mhm.
that. Just to find, because as you said, the thing now is just to build an audience, and I'm working on that.
Yeah.
And it took me 15 years just to really put that effort, and the audience has to be for me, not for my content.
Mhm.
Just like as you said with influencers, the content creators, the audience is their audience.
Right.
People love Real Friends. People don't know anything about Andre Winter.
True.
So
No, you make an excellent point. Because I don't know if you know the filmmaker Richard Brown from Westmoreland. So he has a YouTube channel called Richard Brown Films,
mhm.
and he puts out a movie every month, right? So he
Oh
literally
wow.
films a movie every month. A lot of them are the same actors, same locations, different stories. And people know him because I mean it's branded Richard Brown Films, and he's actually in the films as
He's in
well.
it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And because of that, it's like, all right, Richard Brown film come out. Let me see what it's about now. And people are fans of his film. They're also fans of the actors because they get to see the actors regularly. And it's something that I always say, boy, we need to build some stars because people do follow the actors, right? You follow Danger, you follow Adele and etc. because they are the face that you're seeing.
Hmm.
But he's been making these films for a while now. I would say maybe 2 years, 3 years, maybe he started in the pandemic. And he came out with a film recently called Bad Picnic. Now, the reason I bring this film up, he released it just before the hurricane. And the reason I bring this film up is because, typically speaking, I'm not a big fan of his films. And he knows this. I've said it to his face before. I'm not necessarily a big fan of his films, but I'm a fan of the fact that he puts out this stuff on a consistent basis. Like that part of it, I wish I could be more like him. But when I saw Bad Picnic, I was like, but what this not bad? The shooting isn't bad, the acting isn't bad, the story isn't bad. And I was literally able to watch the movie from beginning to end, down to the very last credit. And I had to call him the next day and go, yo, this Bad Picnic was really good. Like I really liked it, and the actors surprised me. And him say, yeah, he's been getting a lot of good feedback on it. And he said that he was surprised that he dropped it one night and by the next morning it reached 240 views. And he's like, none of his videos have ever done that well. And
40,000.
then no, 240,000. And
Mm-hmm.
then by literally the day after the hurricane, it had hit 1 million views, right? And I told him, and of course he didn't know because he come from Westmoreland, so for him host mashup, so he's just concerned about, yeah. So he's just concerned about, getting supplies and whatever. But I'm looking at it and I'm like 1 million views. I'm like, this story obviously is resonating with a lot of people. And you know, back to the point is that his fans spread that film just organically because one, they're fans of him, so automatically 40,000 people check it out right away because that's a consistent number. And then after them watch it, them share it, and it literally hit 1 million views within like must say a week or a week and a half. I was
Yeah, he
like,
has
wow.
260,000 subscribers and he has
Mhm.
897 videos up.
Right. 800. Wow. Yeah.
And I'm looking through it right now, and you're not like sometimes it's 2 movies per month.
Yeah. Yeah,
So Bad Picnic, Pregnant at 16 is his look like it has the highest views at
it does.
1.4 million.
Hmm.
But I'm looking through his catalog. I mean,
And he pays his actors out of the money he makes from YouTube.
which is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot of money, but them get paid.
And these are actually like feature length because they're
They
like an
are.
hour. Like this one is 3 hours. Well, that's clearly too long, but this one is 3 hours. It has
Some of them him chat in the mid. Some of them him chat in them too. You know, some of them there's behind the scenes and then there's talking about the film and all kind of something.
but most of these are like an hour and a half, an hour and
Yeah,
50 minutes, 2 hours. Like he's
yeah,
actually making films, not
yeah,
even
man.
breaking them apart.
Yeah. He's making films like, and it's funny because I want to tell him, yo, I think you should put Bad Picnic on Tubi. But then at the same time, I know that that would disappoint his audience. Because I mean, 1.5 million views. Like the only thing I criticized him for was I said, yo, there's too much talking. Like your characters, they get to the point and then you're stretching out the point. I don't think you need to stretch out the point. Like once we get the point of the scene, and the scene is done, you can move on to the next scene. But he was saying to me that how the algorithm works when people he makes more money once people watch for at least 40 minutes. So he's trying to keep them, locked into the scene for as long as possible. But I
Stretched
still
up.
don't think but I still don't think he needs to do that because his film can still meet a feature film length without all of the extra chatter, and the film would move along much faster. And I think the audience would stick around if you're getting to the point quicker and moving through the story a little bit faster. And I mean, an example, the thing about it is they talk a little bit too literal Jamaican. Like how Jamaican would be like, boy, Andre, look how long it take for come. You tell me, say, just round the corner. No, man, you know, rate, man, you know. You know, rate, man, star. Look how long it take for come. You know, if you say I come 5 minutes, I'll know. You know, rate, man, star. You take man for you. You're like, yeah, man, we get the point, saying, no, rate, man. Like, we can move on to something else. We don't have to keep laboring on that point. But outside of that, the acting was very believable. I mean, like, in particular, and I mean, we're going off on another topic, but in particular, it's like each character was very distinct. What I found with his previous films, the actors kind of just feel like they're saying lines or they're improving and not sure what they're saying. Like you just tell somebody, yo, the two of you arguing over breadfruit, and they're just arguing, and you can tell they're like trying to
Trying
figure out
to figure
what do I
out.
say next. But right, but with this particular one, like each character felt very, very purposeful because it's like you have this child, she's a teenager, she's 16, she just not about her schoolwork. She just want, you know, look good and pose on social media. And her mother is just tired of her. And her mother's like, yo, here what? I need to go abroad to go make some money to take care of you because I can't take care of you from here. I'm just not making enough money to take care of you from here. So she sends her to live with her half sister, right? Which is her, baby father's child from another, relationship. But she gets along with that child really well because she's to help take care of that child. So the half sister is like, sure, I'll take care of her and takes her in. And the half sister does this very, in my opinion, nuanced motherly figure and also half sisterly figure. Kind of like you really get the sense that yeah, we're not really sisters because we never grew up with each other, but I want to be a sister, kind of vibe. But at the same time, I'm responsible for you, so I'm a little bit motherly, and she did that really, really well. And then the husband now, he is him like off the little girl and want to sleep with the little girl. And of course he's hiding it from the sister who is his girlfriend. And he does that really well. Like, when he gets accused, like him have this little sheepish, slyish look and just the way he behave, like you as a person watching, you're like, wow, this man is a sleazy snake. But you can tell that to the other characters, he's just being this nice guy. And why are you treating your sister so harsh? And you're like a slack, she young, and like he really do a good job of like being a snake in the grass. you know.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what I really liked about it. Like every character understood their role. The actors understood their role.
Just me, Kevin. Like that's one thing Jamaicans don't have a shortage of. We have tons of storytellers,
Yes,
tons of
yes.
storytellers, tons of stories. So and Jamaican people are just naturally dramatic, so we can act. So I believe that. I'm glad to see this. I'd love to see him continue and build his audience and maybe try more and experience more, experiment more. So as you said, this might be a little bit more with him and he might figure out something. I hope, he can recover from the hurricane afterwards.
I know, man. I think
Okay.
he will. He's a resilient guy. He's a resilient
Make
guy.
money
He's
out of
only,
it, use it as a backdrop.
yeah. Yeah, no, that was the thing, no, because like at first as they're saying, in backdrop basically dead, but I look at it and I say, you know what, he's a filmmaker. He will figure out a story that fits that setting, So I have no doubt
So
that
let me,
he
let,
will bounce back.
let me ask you this. What's the one thing do you think Jamaica, the industry needs?
All right. So since you took distribution, I can't take that one. I think, and I'm gonna skip funding. Because yeah,
Okay.
funding is a very obvious one. I think we would do really well with a sales agent, right? And a sales agent with either Caribbean heritage or Caribbean understanding. Because we need a sales agent who can look at our content and is very familiar with different platforms and can say, yo, your content would do well here, right? Don't bother look to this platform. Don't bother look on this platform. This platform is where your content is going to do well. I have connections there. I'll bring these later projects and, try and push them through the door. And the reason why I say that specifically is because I've met sales agents of different kinds from different countries, and they they seem very set on the films that they distribute. If you understand what I mean, it's almost like if all you've ever seen sell are Chinese slippers, in your mind, only Chinese slippers can sell. And when somebody come with some Swedish clogs, you go, yeah, that now selling. And it's like it's not that it's not selling, it just sells in a different market. That's all it boils down to. It's like Clarks. Nobody never really rate Clarks per se. Jamaicans wear Clarks because, durable shoe and it became a thing. Rest of the world is like, okay, yeah, Clarks. Then Vibes Cartel make it popular again, and now all of a sudden Clarks is like the hot shoe, right? And it's just again about market positioning. Who is that sales agent who knows the the where the diaspora is concentrated and what the diaspora is watching? Who is it that knows where the Jamaican fans are? Not necessarily Jamaican heritage, but people who just love Jamaican or Caribbean content. Who is the person that knows which specific African platform would love Jamaican content? That person is who we need. That person who can look on a silver silhouette or a sweet rhyme and go, this platform, guarantee you more than likely you're gonna make X amount of money on this platform because of what this content is. That's all we need.
Okay. I agree with that. Same distribution, in a little bit different way. But yeah, a sales agent like that can position us and position our films and bring it to market.
Mm-hmm.
Do wonders. Do
Yep.
wonders.
Yeah, because I think the big thing is the reason why I look on it that way is because even when you have distributors, one of the hardest things is to get through to the distributor, and the agent is that person who has that relationship or that rapport with the distributor and can be the bridge. You know, I've seen it where filmmakers have tried to get through to a particular platform and the calls are ignored, the emails are ignored. Maybe they meet somebody from the company, but that person is just not a decision maker. And then they just meet the right sales agent who knows the right people at that particular company. and then make a call and have a little screening, and then things start to happen just because the right person walks you through the door. And I feel like even in Jamaica, that happens, whether it is for distribution or even just getting on set. If you walk up to a Natalie Thompson and say, "Hey, I want a job working on set," she's more than likely going to say, "Okay, well, talk to somebody else." But then if somebody she trusts walks that person in and say, "Hey, Natalie, this person wants to work on set," she'll be like, "All right, come and check me on Monday," right? I think it's the same thing why a sales agent is necessary. Because, yeah, we might find a distribution platform, but once that distribution platform starts getting a lot of content, they themselves start to implement gatekeepers, which are the sales agents. And you need to know the gatekeepers to get through the gates.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
this was a really good conversation. Um, we definitely went way beyond the mark, but I think it was a very interesting conversation and just a really good journey overall. And like you said, the theme is the what do you call it, master of one. I'll may
Jack
forget
of
it.
all trades, master of none.
Right. Yeah, jack of all trade, master of none. Very often better than a master of one. Right. So thank you again, Andre, for carrying us through your journey. You are, as you say, multi-hyphenate who has journeyed from being a dentist to a lawyer to a producer to a director, cinematographer, grip truck owner, all of these different things. And no doubt, every single drop of that experience is what carried you through to all of the different successes and experiences that you've had so far. And no doubt it's gonna continue to pay off. So, we look forward to more from you. And yeah, just overall, keep doing what you're doing. I think you've accomplished a lot more than many people your age so far. And obviously you have the drive for it. So, keep at it, man. Keep at it.
I appreciate it. And, thank you again for having me. I've seen you guys, doing the podcast, and I say, when is going to be my turn? But, in due time, and, um, my goal in the industry has always been I want to leave the industry in a better place than I found it. So I still have Jamaican stories that I want to tell, and I still feel and know that there's a lot that I can give back to Jamaica. So, any opportunity, just even if it's just talking about my journey, I'm always interested. I always want to see the growth of the Jamaican film industry because I see it has so much potential. As I said, like I see
It
stories,
does.
Jamaican stories all the time. I know Jamaicans are storytellers.
Yeah,
It's just it just needs that flicker to ignite to
it
explode.
does.
So I'm hopefully waiting, and even if I'm not involved, I'm gonna be there cheering it on. Yeah, and this is a time where we've had like three major projects recently: Black Cake, um, Millie Black, and
Right.
Marley.
Yeah.
So I'm still hoping that that is bringing some extra. We just have the film funds up, so that bring more projects. There's a few in
Yeah.
there that I'm really excited about. So yeah, I can't wait. And
Yeah,
I know
man.
you'll be at the forefront. You and the entire interview collective will be at the
Collective. Yeah.
forefront of it. So cheering you guys on.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much, man. All right, man. Take care, Andre.
All
We
right. Thanks,
will
Kevin. You have
keep
a
in
good
touch.
night.
Yeah,
Thank you,
man.
everybody.
Yeah.
And, go follow me at Andre Winter DP on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, 44 Grip Truck and Rentals. On the same thing, follow, subscribe, like all the stuff that you see coming out.
Yeah.
DM me if you need grip gear or a DP or a gaffer in the Atlanta area. And I will
All
travel
right,
to
folks.
Jamaica.
Great, great. All right, folks. So see you again on the next A New View podcast. Peace out.
Thank you for listening to the A New View podcast. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want more information on today's episode, check the show notes below if you are on a podcast platform, or the description if you are on YouTube. See you next episode.